Hi, everyone. It's January 1, 2025, and there is a lot going on inside of the divorce world. I don't know if you guys saw, but Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt finally ended their 8-year battle inside the divorce court, and it's finally over for them. And I think all of us who are going through a divorce are probably wishing, hoping, and praying that our divorce ends in 2025, right? We hope that it's over with. I wanted to come on today and give you some pointers as best I can for how to handle your divorce in 2025 and give you some tools to take away from this. So I am live on TikTok and live on Facebook and all of my support groups as well, all at the same time. So thank you all. Let me know where you're all from, what state you're from or what country you're from. And I would love to tell you whether I have helped someone in your state. My name is Samantha Boss. I help people with their parenting plans. I help coach people through their divorces. I am a certified mediator and I love helping people navigate divorce. Okay. I have been doing this for quite some time. I am divorced myself back in 2008, and I am happily remarried with two more kids. So I have four kids, two from my divorce and two from my marriage. Roll Tide, absolutely. And I live in Alabama. I just moved to Alabama this last summer. So I've been doing this for a decade. I love helping people. When I was going through my divorce, I didn't know shit about it. I didn't understand it. I thought, hey, I'm a good person. I am educated. I'll go hire an attorney and this will be over as fast as it started. I was only married for 4 years. I could not have been more wrong. It was ugly. It was expensive. It ruined myself. It ruined my kids for quite so many years until I figured out how to get my feet back underneath me. And there was a lot of things that I did wrong. First and foremost, I hired the wrong type of attorney. Secondly, I believed that my ex was going to play fair. Thirdly, I did not get a support team set in place. I had no support. I acted like I was fine. I was embarrassed. I was humiliated. There was a lot of shame and guilt associated with my divorce, and it drug into my life tremendously. I allowed the divorce to ruin a lot of corners of my life, meaning my job, my kids, who I was as a person. And so I coach people on how not to be me, right? And so one of the things that I did all in 2024 was I ran a parenting plan workshop because again, I build parenting plans. When you all get divorced, you are literally going to go from being married, sharing your children under the same household to a split home, two different homes, two different locations, and your kids will go back and forth from one household to the other. And how you do that is according to your parenting plan. Now, Larry's across the nation, and I'm talking about the United States for the most part. I call lawyers Larry, shitty ones. Shitty attorneys are not called Larry. There's great attorneys out there, but shitty attorneys like Larry the lawyer is going to give you a very shitty parenting plan. Now, why do they do this? They do this because they want to be rehired. They do this because they don't know better. They do this because they want you to be on retainer with them forever, especially those that have a high conflict divorce. So picking the right attorney is the first step, but you have to pick an attorney that's going to get you a very good quality parenting plan. Do I want to trust that my attorney has a good parenting plan? I don't know. They're all using templates. They've had the same template maybe for years. I want to know that in the interview process. And if they're not willing to share that, then I have to know questions asked, go build that parenting plan myself. And then that's where I come into play. I build custom parenting plans. I listen to what your story is. Where do you live in proximity to each other? What are you wanting for your children? What do you want the future to look like? And a lot of Larrys are not going to include the future content. And that's where I come in. Again, I want to get your kids from diapers to diplomas. So I did a workshop all of 2024. I took November and December off. Why? Because I wanted to revamp it. I wanted to make it better. I wanted to make it something that it wasn't. My parenting plan in 2024 talked just about parenting plans. And I felt like I was shortchanging. Thank you, Tori. I was shortchanging my clients. And so what I have done is revamped it. And I want to share with you what's going to be happening inside of it. And I want some feedback. And it's called Divorce Proofing Your Kids. And I named it this because I wanted people to understand that when you're going through a divorce, you're not going through it just for yourself. You're going through it for your future self and your relationship with your kids' future selves. So, how you will get impacted is if you have a shitty parenting plan, you are going to have a shitty time in co parenting, and you are going to be stuck going in and out of court repeatedly. And who does that affect? That affects your children. That affects your kids. Your mental state, your financial well being affects your children. How do I know this? Me. I was financially broke. My ex husband took me to court every 3 to 6 months for 8 years, and it broke me. It broke me financially and it broke me mentally. And I didn't know better. I didn't know that I could have went and appealed my parenting plan. I didn't know I could have asked for a more detailed parenting plan. I didn't know that I would need to include things that I thought would be common fucking sense for most people. But my ex-husband wasn't most people. Okay. So I was up against something I didn't know until I was knee deep in a pile of shit in it. Okay. So I've changed that and where I want people to feel better protected with legal paperwork. Now, my parenting plan, again, I help all across the world. I've done UK, Australia, United States, Texas, Florida, all of them. My parenting plan is what high conflict people need. So when people say, is it state specific? No, my parenting plan is for high conflict couples, couples that do not want to talk, couples that do not want to agree, couples that can't talk or can't agree. My parenting plan is based on let's be as specific as possible. Let's be as detailed as possible. So I know what my responsibilities are. You know what your responsibilities are. I'm accountable. You're accountable. And we're fucking done. We don't need to have chit chat. We don't need to talk. We don't need to engage. If we wanted to do that, we would have went to fucking therapy. We would have figured it out and we'd be back fucking probably married to now. Where the family court system is, which by the way is a $8 billion industry, is keeping people tangled up in court, which makes them be absolutely miserable, which makes their kids feel the effects. And I hate that. My kids felt the effect. My son and daughter both went through the high conflict divorce with me. They were just as much financially abused as I was. I did not have the money that I spent on my divorce. They saw me emotionally be abused because I didn't know how to cope and deal with such a high volume, over the top divorce. I did not handle it well. I did not have a support system. I was not in therapy at that time. It was the blind leading the blind. It was horrible. Okay. It was absolutely horrible. And it affected my kids. So I've changed my workshop. I have changed my workshop and it's only open to 200 people. I want to keep it small because I got too big last year. So I'm only doing it for 200 people. You get the replay and I'm going to go over what it is that we're going to discuss. Now, again, I'm going to cover parenting plans because that's what I do. I'm going to talk to you about parenting plans. I'm going to talk to you about do's and don'ts. I'm going to talk to you about a lot of other things. And I want to run through that real quick so that you completely understand. First and foremost, I would love my ideal client, my ideal person is somebody that hasn't said the words yet or is thinking about it. So I want you to forward this on right now to someone. Share this with someone that you think needs to divorce because I would love to grab him or her early on because those critical mistakes. Remember what I said at the beginning? I made a mistake of picking the wrong attorney from word go. I was an idiot. I'm not going to lie. I was an absolute fucking idiot. I picked the wrong type of attorney thinking that like, oh, my ex-husband and I will get along. We'll do this together. This will be easy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Furthest from the fucking truth, right? So I would love to have a client that hasn't thought about it yet or is thinking about it but hasn't pulled the trigger yet, hasn't said the D word yet, hasn't said I want divorce yet, or a client that has just started. But I'll help anybody no matter what phase they're in. But that's ideally what I want to help people understand is what is divorce? What are the steps? What are the right steps from somebody that has been through it before? And again, I've been divorced. My kids were 1 and 3. They're now 20 and 18. I have been through all stages of divorce, right? So I want you to not only understand what you should be doing at the early stages, but what are all the stages? When my attorney said, okay, now you're headed to mediation. Well, now you're headed to litigation. Well, now you're headed to court. I was learning as it was happening. And for somebody with high anxiety, I would have loved to completely understood it before it happened. I wanted to know the whole game, not just where I was at right then and there. I wanted to learn about it before I got to it. But again, I didn't know any better. So I was literally learning as I was going through the process, which for somebody like me just caused so much undue stress. All right. So I'm going to teach you the stages. I'm also going to teach you what high conflict is and what it's about. because this was something, again, I had fucking blinders on about. I didn't understand what high conflict was. I really thought, like, if I just kiss his ass enough, he'll stop treating me this way. If I just, I was the just a girl, right? If I just show this, if I just do this, none of that is going to happen for most of you. People of high conflict will stay high conflict no matter how much you kiss their ass, no matter how much you avoid them. They are who they are. So we have to really wrap our head around the idea that we need to just absorb this and deal with this. But you have to understand that this isn't about you, really. This is about them and their trauma that they've never dealt with. And you're just the punching bag. And I'm going to teach you about those boundaries that you need to have if you have somebody like this that you're divorcing, right? I'm also going to teach you how to divorce proof your kids emotionally and mentally. Again, I did not do a very good job of protecting and shielding my kids from what was happening to them, partly because I was naive enough to think that there's no way my ex is telling them things, but he really was about the divorce. And then here I was keeping myself mute, but they saw me all upset and distraught and, not coping well. I did not help my kids the way I should have. And so I have a lot of viewpoints on that. Not to mention my children had a really good child psychologist helping me along the way in play therapy. And I have all of those tips and tricks. Strategies on getting your attorney to help you. This is where a lot of us fail. We pick a Larry. Larry doesn't think we're high conflict, or Larry says things like, oh, don't worry about it. It'll get better later. Or, oh, you can't ask for that. That's not allowed to be asked for. Oh, I can't do that. Thank you. All of this stuff. That's a Larry. A Larry is somebody that wants to keep you on their just retention income. Like, just you keep paying them, they keep absorbing it. You have something that happens that could have been in your parenting plan. You have to call them, ask them for advice. They love you because you keep paying your bill and you keep them, employed. We have to stop this madness. When I divorce, I should be able to restart my life, not keep living my old life while doing my new life. But lawyers love to keep us there. They love to not wrap it all up and finalize it. They love to drag this shit out for time and time again. They love for it to just take forever. So I want all of you listening right now, ask yourself, do I have a Larry or do I have a Helen? Helen was my last attorney that I had. I had 3 over the 8 years. She was a fucking rock star. She understood what I had. She understood I was dealing with high conflict. She understood that this was probably not going to go away, but she could simplify it very dramatically. She understood that she shouldn't have to charge me for every time he wanted to represent himself and make a phone call over to her. She totally got what was happening in my case. My first 2 other attorneys, they were in utter denial. Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, he wouldn't do that. Oh, the kids won't be okay. The kids will be okay. They had no idea what true high conflict was. So your lawyer has to understand that. But you also have to understand this is your case. This is not your attorney's case. You've hired them to advise you. This is your case. You have to make sure you are learning how to protect yourself. And I didn't do this. I thought, okay, I go to the dentist and I say, I have a toothache. Dentist, fix my tooth. I completely trust. I don't ask questions. What are you putting in my mouth? What are you drilling with? I don't ask questions because I hired a professional. And I did the same thing with my divorce. And I couldn't have been more fucking wrong. I need to start asking the dentist, what are you putting in my mouth? Are you using fluoride? Is this the type of drill that is going to be okay for my jaw? I need to start asking more questions. How do I even prevent getting more of these cavities? We need to really start looking into asking more questions. Why do you want me to sign this? Why do you want me to do this? Is this going to backfire later? Why can't we ask for more? What is going on here? Explain this to me. But the problem between you and your attorney is every time you talk to them, it is a high number, right? 200, 300, 400. Some of you are paying $500 an hour to talk to your attorney about your case. And sometimes an hour doesn't cut it. And I have to talk 2 or 3 times. And then what do they charge to take you to court? So getting an education about the whole thing is really, it's non-negotiable. Like, it's just non-negotiable to not come and listen to my training and get that knowledge. It's $100, $97. $97 for 2 hours. I have a feeling it'll probably be more than that because I used to teach a 4-hour workshop and now I'm trying to cut it down to 2. But I talk super fast, but it is recorded. So even though you might not be able to make it right there on January 7th at 4 p.m. Central, It will be recorded and sent to you immediately as soon as it's done. Now, let's go over again. What am I going to be covering? I'm going to cover all the stages of divorce. I'm going to cover what high conflict is. I'm going to cover boundaries. I'm going to cover divorce proofing your kids. I'm going to cover attorney strategies. I'm going to cover parenting plans. Parenting plan is the product you're walking away with at the end of your divorce. All of you will have a parenting plan. It's just a matter of how shitty is it or how great it is. I've sold over thousands of parenting plans to people. I have customized thousands of parenting plans for my clients. And they all say, I am so grateful that I have all of the answers from what I'm doing now till graduation. And I can be done having to engage. Also, the reassurance of knowing I'm following the rules and they're not. I love knowing that my attorney can read my parenting plan black and white and know whether they're in contempt or not. The other part that I'm going to teach is the importance of self-care. You have to be taking care of yourself as you're going through this divorce. And as somebody that did not do that, thank you. Somebody that did not do that, I can really tell a difference when I did switch gears and start taking advantage of self-care, how much my kids followed me in that and how quickly they started to heal. Okay. So everything that I'm talking about, I have put links on the Facebook pages. I've put links. It's up in my bio here on TikTok. I really want you guys to understand. I took something that I've done I did that workshop actually for 2 years. And I took the 2 months off to rebuild it, to say they need more information than just parenting plans. They need to know how to talk to their kids. They need to know how to talk to their attorney. They need to know what they're looking for. So this is something that I want you to tag your friends in. I want this to go everywhere possible. I want people in here that are nervous about their divorce. Their divorce is not going well. It's an easy $97. And I know all of us have spent way more money on dumber shit before. And everybody that comes to this workshop always says, can't believe how much you told us. You've educated me more than my lawyer has ever thought about educating me. I feel so much better now that I understand what's happening in my own life. And for me, when I was going through it back in 2008, I was too ashamed to say I didn't understand. I would be sitting in a meeting with my attorney and she would be like, blah, 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 and tell me something. And I'd go, in my mind, I'm like, I have no fucking clue what that means. And she'd go, that makes sense, right? And I was like, yep, sure does. I had no idea what she was talking about. And I was an educated person. I had 2 master's degrees sitting across from her, and I had not a fucking clue what she was saying. I didn't understand. And I was too prideful and too ashamed and too embarrassed to say, can you dumb it down? Can you talk slower? Can you give me an example? Can you explain that better? I don't get it. I'm emotionally upset today and I'm not understanding because time was money to me. I'm sitting there talking to a woman that was charging me well over $400 an hour, and I wanted to get through that meeting quickly. And I'm telling you, when you come to a workshop like this, where I'm a normal person, I am just a mom of 4. I'm in sweatpants right now, sitting here talking to you. I'm getting ready to go to my mother-in-law's and eat some stupid like beef and cabbage shit that I probably won't eat and like. I am a normal person, but I'm also somebody that has been you. I have been you on the other side of this, paying high-priced attorneys to protect me, and they failed me. They failed me. And I thought the whole time going through this, my mom and dad, I finally opened up to late in the game. It's on January 7th. And I said, is everybody that goes through a divorce feel this way? Is everybody feeling this behind, this dumb, this taken advantage of, this failing court system? Like, does everybody go through this? This is ridiculous. And I'm a fixer and I'm a doer. And so I took what happened to me. I went and got trained. I went and got certified. I went and took all these classes and all these trainings and all these things. And I still, even through all of those trainings, guys, I'm getting trained by people that had never been in my spot. And so it was like, yeah, but where's the emotional coaching? Where's the mental coaching? Where's the telling people how to handle it? You're telling me what's going to happen, but you're not telling me how to handle it. And they're like, well, we don't do that. Well, somebody needs to. Somebody needs to say, hey, this is happening to you. Here's how it's going to feel, but here's what we do. And that's what I do. Okay. That's what I do. I want to make sure that every month I offer this workshop, and it's like a stepping stone in your divorce. It's a way to feel educated and empowered and not behind the 8 ball. You'll actually understand. And here's the best fucking part. You're going to go to a meeting with your attorney and go, oh, I know what that means. And let me give you 3 examples as to why I don't want that. Or here's what I do want, and here's why I want it. You are going to be able to use your words and explain yourself on what you want. That is what I want you to feel like you're in the game, not watching it. I was watching my whole divorce. I watched my attorneys battle. I watched my attorneys speak. I read paperwork that they sent. I didn't do anything in my divorce but go, uh-huh, uh-huh. And I wrote a check and I paid and I paid and I paid. That's it. I had no fucking idea what was happening to me. And then fast forward, spoiler alert, I get a 4-page parenting plan and I was excited. I was excited. I was like, wow, look at this. I finally have a product. I have the paperwork. And then less than 3 months, something happened. And I said, oh, that's gotta be in our parenting plan. That's gotta be there. What? It wasn't mentioned. So I call who? Larry. Hey, Larry, you failed to put this in my parenting plan and this is happening. What should I do? Oh, yeah, I thought this might happen. Why don't you come on in? We can talk about it. We can file a motion. We can go back to court and we can fix that. Wait a second. I was just there. Like 3 months ago. I was just there. You want me to start this whole fucking process over again and pay you to send the paperwork to go to you want me to start over? No, I just want to fix this part. Blindly I said okay. Well, it sounded simple, right? Just pay him, he'll file the motion. No, any of you that know this know that that's not how it works. It does kind of start all over again and you have to fill out all these paperwork again and you have to go to court again and because my ex-husband didn't want to do the mediation. So, I'm telling you now, there's Larrys out there that want you to call them back. And then there's Sam's out here that wants you to get all the way to graduation in one fell swoop, one document, one paper, and be fucking done with it and move on with your life and help your kids. Because when you're tied up in court, your kids are feeling the ill effect of that. There is no way around it. My parenting plan that I make for people is anywhere from 35 pages to 55 pages, depending on how old your children are, depending on how far away you live from one another, depending on what your jobs are. But my parenting plan is written for people that are of high conflict. And when people say it's way too detailed, is it? Or is it too detailed for somebody that still wants to be controlling and abuse me? That's the people that don't like it. And that's why my attorney has to then go tell a judge how high conflict we are so that we can get the detailed parenting plan, so that we can get protection. And for all of you that say, oh, my case isn't that bad now. Right now, your case isn't bad. Right now, you two are getting along. Are either one of you fucking somebody else? Because the second you start fucking somebody else, I guarantee you are going to hit a bump in the get along train. You are going to have a problem. The second one of you starts screwing somebody else, the wheels on the bus fall off. So my point is, I want to build a plan for the shitty season. If we're getting along, we don't even need to use the plan. We can just be kumbaya, call, yeah, chill, swap, sure, no problem, love you, yeah, let's still get along. Let's fucking do Christmas together. Great for you. But the second it goes to shit, we go back to the paperwork. I'd love to, but I think I just want to go back to the paperwork. I don't want to hear it. I'm just going to follow the paperwork. I have a fucking plan. That plan is my backbone. When I have a high conflict parent coming for me, I say, ooh, I can't be in contempt. I'm going to go do this. So again, I've just seen about 10, 15 people purchase. So again, I'm only going to keep it open for 200 spots and then I'm done for the month and then you'll have to wait till next month. But this is going to be the first of its kind. What happens when I start something new? I over deliver every time until I tweak it. So it's best to see it the first time. All right. And we'll get in there and we'll make it amazing. You're going to get a checklist. You're going to get some things to give to your attorney. I want to make sure that you understand. I want you to have confidence when you go into meetings. I want you to feel better about yourself. I want you to start figuring out the things that I wish someone would have pulled me aside and said, listen, Linda, you need to get your shit together. You need to be focusing here. You need to be looking over here. You need to be doing this and doing this and doing this. But I didn't have anybody like that. So let me be your person. Let me guide you and support you. Let me help you. Okay. I want to make sure that you understand that this is your divorce. It's not your attorney's. It's your divorce. And you have to lead this divorce. You have to know every part of it. If you're reading stuff and not understanding, shame on you for not asking more questions. Come get some help. You need to understand. Don't be me and have regret of being like, well, I guess I should have said something, but I was too scared to. This is your sign that I am your type of person. I'm going to cuss like a sailor, by the way, inside of the workshop. All right. I use big people words. I talk like a human. I am going to talk directly to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not going to talk in circles. I'm not going to elude you down a path that's wrong. I'm going to be real, raw, and tell you the ugly truth about what is going to happen if you don't listen to me. Because I've done this for a decade and I see people all the time. They watch my content. They say, oh my God, you're great. Oh my God, you're so right. You're so right. You're so right. You're so right. And then they don't express those things to their attorney, or they believe their attorney when their attorney says, oh no, we can't do that. We can't do that. And then they get a shitty parenting plan. And 6 months from now, they call and they say, okay, I need to hire you. Should have hired you 6 months ago, but I thought my attorney had my back. I thought my attorney was going to do that for me. I thought. Please don't have spending money and then have to come back and spend money again to do something that you could do right now. Right now, go get an education, and I'm going to give you one. I've been a teacher my whole life. It's what I went to school for. I know this forwards and backwards. I've lived this life. I'm trained and certified in this life. I've dealt with high conflict for 20 years. And the first 8 years, it had a hold on me like stink on shit. And now I could give a fuck about that person, and I have boundaries, and I know things that I wish other people knew. I feared the court system for too long. So on January 7th at 4:00 Central, it's all recorded. It will all be sent to you immediately as soon as I'm done. You will get everything. You don't have to attend live because I understand you have jobs and you have things to do. You can attend later by watching it at your own pace. All right. So it's 2 hours. I say 2 hours. It'll probably be close to 3. Yes, it's good for any parent going through a divorce. I don't care if you're in Canada, Mexico, the UK, Texas, Florida. I don't care where you're at. I want you to be able to come and learn, okay, in the comfort of your own home, the privacy of your own home, and learn how to divorce proof your kids, how to make sure this divorce does not fuck up your children and fuck up your financial future and fuck you up. And I wish I would have had this. So that's why I'm giving it to you guys, $97, probably 3 hours of content. The link is everywhere that you're watching me from. Divorce proof your kids. Come hang out with me. Okay. Have no regrets. I don't want you watching this and then you didn't go on the workshop and then you get screwed over in your next conversation with your attorney or your next court case. So make sure you're taking advantage of this right now. Okay. Post below if you've already purchased, and I want to know and see you there. Bye, everybody.